Hey everybody, it's Abby Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday today. It's great weather here in Boston, sunny and pretty warm. So I've been loving sitting outside. And today we're going to be joined by Holden. She's one of our members, and we're going to be doing our member spotlight where we get to drop in on a Craft Industry Alliance member. Does a lot of different things that she does. Some of it sort of nautical or seaside themed. And she is actually not too far from me in Massachusetts. Hey, how are you, Anne?
Hi, how are you, Abby? Nice to meet you face
Yeah,
to face.
yeah, absolutely. Nice to meet you as well. So, I was saying that you're not too far from me because I live in the Boston area.
Yes, I'm on the South Shore, so halfway between the Cape and Boston.
Right, absolutely. And so you're also highly creative. You do a lot of different things and
Thank you.
have, I think, three different Instagrams, which just speaks to all the different things that you do. So tell us a little bit about all the different creative pursuits you're exploring.
Well, I've always kind of done photography. That's been my staple since high school. College, I did photography afterwards. It wasn't until right around before the pandemic that I started doing more family, like local family photography stuff. And then I kind of crept over to a lot of small businesses, brand. I do product photography. I've also done real estate. There's so many different, I basically could do any kind of photography you put in front of me. I love it all. But I recently last year started weaving, basket weaving. So now that's kind of become my new obsession. And I started making jewelry. And I don't know if you can see any of the baskets behind. Maybe I'll turn it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, there you go.
You're right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. And so then I started doing craft fairs in the fall with that. And so now I'm kind of going in a lot of different directions. It's hard being a photographer because your your busiest time is in the fall, the summer, so in the winter I tend to kind of try to do other things to figure out, how to supplement in between. So that's kind of where I am. I'm
That's
kind of a
great.
mixed bag.
Yeah, no, but all very creative. And I just recently took a basket weaving class at the Elliott School of Crafts here in
Oh,
JP. And it was an all
wonderful.
day class. We made a bushel basket, and it was my
Love
first
it.
time doing basket weaving. I had never done any of it before. So the bottom was like a wicker material, and the sides are more of like a flat, I don't remember the terms, but it's more of
Yeah.
a flatter sort of
Yeah.
strip that's wrapped around the
Yes.
sides, but the sides build up quickly and the bottom's really strong.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can definitely see the addictive nature of this craft because it's very kind of cathartic. You're just like doing the same
Yes.
thing over and over.
Oh my God.
But
It's like meditation. It
yes,
really
yes. And then in the end, you have this wonderful
is.
useful product, which is like to me just the epitome of craft, which is like something beautiful and
I
useful.
agree. I agree. And something you could show off because eventually I'd like to make my baskets into purses. That's kind of where I'm going. So I can't wait to be able to show it off because the bracelets are the first time I've ever had an art where I could actually like wear it. Usually it's something that I have to show people. Like I've done a lot of painting. I've done some sculpture, but the basket weaving was a whole other part of my brain that I had to try to figure out. It's like going from like 2D to 3D is just a whole different thing. But a
Yeah.
challenge and fun, so fun. I recommend it to everybody. Like go take a class.
Is that how
It's
you
just
learn? Did you take
yes.
a class too?
Yeah, I took a class from someone in our town last year in the spring. And then I took another, and so the thing was, I took the class because I really wanted to learn how to make bracelets. And I took the class to learn the basket, and then I was so impatient I couldn't wait for her class in the fall. So I ended up teaching myself how to make bracelets over the summer. So I just worked really hard, and there was like no YouTube videos anywhere. It was really challenging, but because I kind of took it from a different perspective, I think I kind of came up with my own thing.
Yeah, which is
So,
the
which
best.
is
So
exciting.
will you show us
Yeah.
some? Could you have some bracelets that you can put up
Oh,
close to the
yes.
camera so people can kind of get a sense of what a woven basket bracelet looks like?
Yes. So this is one of them. And I like to, they have like little end caps and you can get little designs on them, which are so cute. And of course, everything is nautical because I'm insane, obviously, about all things coastal. So everything is shipyard. So it's shipyard photography, shipyard weaving. Then I also make sea glass soap, and that's shipyard soap. And then I've also been selling my watercolor cards, but most of those are like local spots that I painted for a year. Right after COVID, I just watercolor painted because I'd never really dabbled in that before. And I just kind of picked all my local places. So
That's so
yeah,
nice.
I'm
Yeah.
very, very obsessed with where I live too.
Well, here's the thing, like if people go to, the coastal area of Massachusetts, you realize that everyone who goes there wants to get a memento from that place. And so
Yes.
it, and also if you have a home there, like a vacation home, a second home, everyone wants to decorate their home with things that are sort of seaside,
Yes.
Cape Cod
Yes.
themed. So there's a good market for
Oh,
it.
oh, totally. But I grew up in the next town over, and I remember being like, I don't know why people move here. It's all about the beach. And, this was in high school, and I was like, I just want to get as far away from here as possible. But it's so funny how you come back to what you love and what you know.
Yeah.
And now I'm just just embracing it so much, and I love being close to the water. And these are really cool. These bracelets have a wonderful story behind them. um the baskets, so like these are the baskets right here. I don't know if
Oh,
you
yeah.
can
Hold it up so
see.
we can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
they're
and
so pretty.
I'm like so obsessed with making my patterns look kind of tweed like, because I've never woven before. So it's interesting. I love playing with all the different colors and patterns, and seeing how the colors overlap and look together is really exciting for me. But the story of the Nantucket baskets is that I think it's around the 1800s, maybe 18 early 1800s. There were lightships all around like Nantucket and down the Cape, and they were basically like a floating lighthouse.
Okay.
And to keep, there really wasn't that much work because they were kind of sitting there, and so the men on the boats started weaving baskets, and the way they wove them was in this style that they have like a wooden base, and then you have the wooden staves that come up, and then you weave it all the way around. And they started doing them, and then a man named Jose Reyes moved to Nantucket. He was from, oh gosh, I don't remember where he was from, but he was from somewhere out like a Polynesian island, and he started turning them into purses, and then
Mm.
they became very popular, and
Yeah.
just kind of took off from there. But there's some amazing craftspeople. Like I am at the very beginning of my journey, and it's kind of one of those things like I wish I had started 30 years ago, because the rest of my life is just not
Yeah.
enough to make all of the baskets that I want to make. Like it just hit me so hard that it's really something I'm just in love, really in love. So
That's a great feeling
it,
to know
it
that there's
is.
so much more to explore.
There is. And there's so many things. And I'm always trying to encourage people like, try it. You don't know. Maybe you haven't found your thing yet, Just keep going. And then I'm very much a mockingbird who finds all the shiny things. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe next year I'll be like, oh,
Right. So,
I'm going to do
you. So tell us
exactly.
a little bit about the sea glass soap because that sounds
Oh,
interesting as well.
yes, I don't even have any here with me. I would have to go into the other room and get it. But it's just kind of, so I went to a conference last year, as a photographer, a creative conference, and I was like, what can I bring that I can give out to people with like my business name on it? And
Yeah.
so my daughter and I one weekend decided we were going to make sea glass soap and sea glass candy. And we were going to kind of like pick which one like we like the best. So we ended up making sea glass soap and we passed it out. And then we had so much of it left over that I was like, oh, I'm gonna start selling these. And so now I'm also studying to become a certified aromatherapist. So I use all essential oils. It's really pretty. Like my Instagram for that is Shipyard Soap. So, if you want to look on there and see, but it's so fun. I love all the things.
And does it have real sea glass in it, or is it
No,
like glycerin that's like made to look like sea glass?
yes,
Okay.
exactly. Like it's very much I've always been into like faux painting, like making the walls look like clouds and like so it's very much me like hand forming each piece and making it look like sea glass.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah,
so cool.
which is cool because I did it at the fairs in the fall and a lot of people were like, is that sea glass? Like they couldn't tell. And I
Right.
love
You're like,
that.
well, that's the best form of compliment, right? If
Yes.
you're tricked
Yeah,
by it. Yeah,
completely.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can people buy any of these things online or just in person?
Yes. So right now my website's a little bit of a mess. Um, but I'm doing all the spring markets. If you follow me on Shipyard Weaving, um, I'll tell you like when the markets are coming up. Shipyard and Co is my website that has kind of everything.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a section for my soap, for my weaving, and for my photography because I still am doing brands and families and seniors. But like I said, mostly in the summer and the fall for those.
Yeah, and you're lucky because I feel like a lot of makers, myself included, are not great photographers and then have all of these products that need to be photographed
Yeah.
for e-commerce or social media, etc., and are, struggling to either teach ourselves how to do it or having to pay a photographer, which is fine as well, but sometimes can be expensive if you're just starting
Yes.
out. So it's awesome that you kind of come fully equipped with all of those
I
skills and that
know.
love.
I'm very lucky, but I'm also like, I'm very open to other artists reaching out to me and asking me for help. I'm very, very much open to just answering their questions and help them because the bottom line is if you have good lighting, you can take those pictures yourself. You just have to have good lighting. Always put your stuff right by a window or like even right now I have one of those little circle lights where my phone is in the middle.
Yeah,
So it makes a difference. You could even use that for product stuff. Just make sure
yeah.
you have, a nice background and you can use your phone on portrait mode and you can still get beautiful pictures.
Oh my
You
gosh,
can,
I
you
just
know,
realized recently that portrait mode is actually really great for taking things other than people portraits. So
yes.
I took a picture, I got this like really beautiful latte, and I took a picture of my latte on portrait
Yeah,
mode. It came out
I
great.
know.
And then I also was out on a walk with my dog, and the forsythia is blooming here. Finally,
Beautiful.
finally
Yeah.
spring. And so I have a whole folder in my phone of flower photos just because I like to draw from photos. And so I
Yeah.
take photos of flowers. And so I took a photo of forsythia blooms on portrait mode and it's so beautiful. So like I
It
recommend
is.
play with it.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like you can totally do so much with your camera phone, especially when you're doing it just for web stuff. If you're going into printing, it's better to have a real camera,
Yeah.
but if you're just doing it for on the internet, I mean, you can completely do it yourself. You just try to keep the pictures maybe the same kind of lighting, just so it's like uniform throughout like your
Yeah.
Instagram page or on your Facebook. And there's so many apps now. Usually if you take a picture with your phone, usually the thing that I do is just edit it on my phone and you just brighten it. Usually you're brightening it, you're bringing maybe up the shadows, down the highlights, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
There's not a ton more. You can make it look beautiful, you
Yeah.
know?
Snapseed is actually a really great
Yes.
photo editor. And
Yeah.
we actually have a whole course within Craft Industry Alliance membership that you got with your membership. And it's all about how to edit your
Yes,
phone photos with Snapseed. So it's definitely possible to do. And
it
it's,
is.
you can get some really great photos that way. I agree.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to be an expert or
No,
be able to
don't let that
afford
hold like
outsourcing.
no, and don't
Yeah,
let that hold you back from
yeah,
doing like putting stuff on your website and putting
yeah.
stuff on your social media because, people want to see it and everybody realizes that it doesn't have to be perfect.
That being
You know?
said, really good photos are important, and I do think
Yes.
you should have a good like a high enough standard so that what you are putting out there is because online everything is really just judged by what you
Yeah.
see, and you're not able to reach out and touch things, and so it is
And it does
important.
it does make a difference.
It
I
does.
notice when other people are looking at my products, even at the craft fairs, I have blown up pictures of my bracelets and people really gravitate towards that.
Yeah,
It does make your booth kind of shine to have those pictures because they're looking at it from a sales point of view. It does
that's
look
actually a
pretty.
great tip
Yeah.
for craft shows, especially if your
Yes.
product is kind of small, like a bracelet or a small
Mhm.
basket, where you have to be kind of in the front row of the booth to be able to see what's
Yes.
there. And if there's already two or three people right in front
Yeah.
and you're in the second row or standing back a little bit because you're just not sure, if you can see those photos,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I know what this is. I'm going to wait until I can get up front.
Yeah, exactly. And it draws people in because they're like, ooh, what's that?
Right.
So it's definitely a good tool for craft shows,
Yeah, that's a
which
good
is such
tip.
a learning experience for me. Like I just started, so it's, in the fall, it's definitely a lot of things, but it's fun. And I love to talk, so I love talking to all the people.
Yeah. And you
Usually I
learn
can't
about
talk
your
by then. What's
you
that?
learn about your products too, because
Oh, yes.
people, I'm sure, gravitate toward things you weren't expecting them to, or have questions that you didn't even think to address. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
have any examples of something like that.
Well, I would definitely say like so my soap, it's sell it in jars, and it's funny because people keep saying, "Is this real sea glass?" And so I
Mhm.
started putting the soap in little soap
Ah,
dishes because also people have been asking me like, "Well, what do you do with it? Like, how do you?" And I'm like, "You put it in a soap dish because they're just little pieces. It's more like hand soap, and it just
yeah.
looks so pretty." Like if you have it in the bathroom or in the kitchen and it's like this glistening, like, it just looks like sea glass. It's so beautiful. And so I started doing that so people could kind of imagine what
Right.
it looked like in their bathroom. Because that's the
Totally.
thing too.
That's a great tip, right?
Yeah,
Like what makes sense to you as the maker doesn't necessarily make sense to the average consumer who's never experienced making this and never seen this product
yeah,
before. So
yes,
their questions really can inform your packaging, for
yeah,
example,
yeah,
and
yeah,
helping them to imagine how it fits into their home. And so if you start hearing the question, like, what do I do with it?
yeah.
Or what is
Hmm.
this? Then that you answer that question for them preemptively and see how that changes things. So
Yeah.
I think even if you don't intend long term to sell your product at a craft fair, if you're just launching, it's really a great idea to get out there and interact with the public around
Oh,
your
yeah. Completely, because now I also have like a sign that says like hand formed soap. So people will see the words and be like, oh, it's soap.
product. Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse my puppy barking.
Oh,
Yeah,
cute.
no, absolutely. I think it's such a good idea, and right, it informs your signage and your packaging, even your pricing,
Yeah.
colors. What people are drawn to when the questions they ask. So that's
Yeah,
really smart.
definitely.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
Anne, it's been great talking to you. I feel like you're so multimedia. You do a lot of different things,
I do.
and I'm excited to see like watercolors, soap making, basket weaving, and
I
jewelry
know.
making, and photography. And I just imagine in the future there'll be even more things that sort of come your way and catch
Yeah.
your eye.
Well, I definitely love to make things. I remember when I was younger in college, I remember saying, when I'm older, I'm gonna have a house and I'm gonna make everything in the house. So it's getting to that point. It's
Yeah,
definitely getting close. The only thing I need to learn now is woodworking. That's next
yeah,
on my list. And then maybe one day I'll combine it all together and make like this crazy multimedia like
yeah.
thing. I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
happen. No,
It'd be
I
fun.
love it, and honestly, it makes for such a rich and interesting life. Just to always be considering what you can make, and I
Yes.
mean, to
And
me,
I
that's
would
the best.
and eventually teach too, because I would
Yeah,
like to spread that to other people and make them realize that you can make anything and it doesn't have to be perfect and everyone is born an artist and I truly believe that it's just like playing, but somebody told you you can't play,
right.
so now you're older. Like I want to get a hold of all the adults and be like, somebody told you you weren't an artist, but let's find that, let's get it out of you.
And I
I
think
love that.
absolutely that's so important. And I feel like overcoming those unfortunate messages that we were given as kids sometimes is really hard work as an adult, but can be so satisfying. And for me, that was definitely like around athletics, like
Hmm.
being told at a certain age, like, well, you're not really an athlete, so you can't play.
Yes.
And then internalizing that for like 2 decades before realizing,
Yeah.
wait a minute, if I want to exercise, I can just exercise. I don't need permission. I don't need to be an
Exactly.
athlete to do this. Yeah.
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true. And just getting to that point and maybe having somebody in your life that's encouraging you to do that too is always
And it
so
feels
helpful.
so good to just reclaim the thing that you really wanted.
Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
you're the most talented at it or not really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
But the joy of doing it is
Yeah,
really what matters and having that enhance your life. So, and I
exactly.
think you really embody that, and that's
Oh,
beautiful. So, thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you so much for all that you do. I mean, being a member is so wonderful, and I have
Oh,
not
good.
like dived into all of the things you have available, but it's amazing. It's so
Well, thank
amazing.
you.
All of your workshops and the lives and the everything that you have on your website that's for members is really, and it's so affordable. I tell everybody because I'm like, this is such a nice way for you to figure these things out that as artists we're like clueless about this stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
I certainly was and still am in many areas. And there's always more to learn
Yes.
too from the business side of things. And if you can kind of embrace it as part of the creative practice of having a business, like there
Yeah.
is creativity to be found in the marketing and even in sort of putting together your systems and operations and all of that. And if you can kind of
Yeah.
embrace it, or at least, when it comes to maybe other things like bookkeeping or whatever, if it's not really for you,
Yeah.
there are ways to sort of get it done that are somewhat less painful. So
Exactly.
as long as we're all in it together and helping each other, I think that's what's important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right. This has been great. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. And yeah, we'll see you next week. All right. Bye. Take
Bye.